All
Um,
right.
but yeah, no. So the thing that I kind of want to jump into today, we were talking at the end of last week's episode about talking about this being the year of double A's. But given the circumstances of this week, I kind of want to talk about how you guys feel about exclusivity. Hopefully I'm awake enough for this because it's a big, deep topic. Um, but so this week, I don't know if you guys have been following. Here at Gamer Social Club, we're not about rumors. We don't like subjugating to more rumors, or is that did that make sense? Did I use the word
Yep.
subjugate right? Okay.
I guess. Yeah. We
But
don't like adding to rumors.
yeah, we don't like adding to rumors, right? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, guess what? I'm not going to go into it. So, but it did ignite in me the thought of what do you guys feel about exclusivity? Are you guys for it? Are you guys against it? We're pretty new at this. We're on that. I think this is our 14th episode, and it's a topic that is so huge in gaming, and we just haven't
Mm.
even touched on it at all. So I don't know what your guys' feelings on it. I mean, I think I already know because we're already like pretty much on the same wavelength. We were even talking a little bit of politics. We're not going to go into politics.
Yep.
But yeah, we were to go talk about politics a little bit before we started recording, and we were like, oh yeah, we're all pretty much on the same page politically speaking too. So I think we're folk that are pretty much of the same wavelength. It's probably part of the reason why we worked well together on the website
Mm.
and with the YouTube side of things as well. Um, because but anyways, so what are your guys' feelings on exclusivity? I let me go ahead and get us started by saying
Yeah.
um I am for it. I am I am for exclusivity to end. I don't want exclusivity. I I understand. Listen, all right. I am the guy who grew up on Xbox. I grew up with Halo. It means a lot to me as a franchise. I love it, and without Halo, it's like, okay, what even is Xbox anymore? And that's a whole conversation in and of itself of what is Xbox without exclusivities, what is PlayStation without exclusivities, and then we're just talking about user interface. We're talking about who has the better marketplace, who has the better trophy system, achievements. Then you start getting into the weeds of things, smaller, not so consequential matters. Um, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on that. Um, but as far as the big thing of okay, what is Xbox without Halo? What is Xbox without Gears of War? Um, I I I want to see games everywhere. I don't really care. I look at Halo Infinite now. Maybe back in the original Xbox days, I would have been like, "Oh hell no, I don't want to see Halo come to PlayStation 2. Why would you buy an Xbox anymore?" I think the gaming world has changed so much over the years that we live in a totally different time that I just want to see Halo Infinite thrive. I want to see Halo healthy, and
Yeah.
I want to see all games be healthy. I it's like I'm just talking about Halo, but let's talk about live service games. Let's talk about multiplayer games and how games are dying so quickly now. There's an oversaturation of multiplayer games, and just sitting here and it's games are getting shut down in less than a year now, and that's not even uncommon. Wild
Yeah. That's
Hearts.
wild.
Yeah, I mean, Wild Hearts is one of the games that comes to the top of my mind. It's like that was a huge game that came out in January, and it was over before October. And I'm. It seemed like a decent game. I never personally played it because I was busy with other games. But from my understanding, anyone who played Monster Hunter World loved that game, and it was multi-platform. So I guess you could argue that my point is completely non-existent here. Um, but my point that I'm trying to make is not that multi-platform will save a game, but that it would help it grow, it would help it thrive. And again, I am kind of comparing an IP that is brand new to an IP that has been around for almost 20 years. And especially when we're talking about Halo specifically, that is kind of struggling. Depending on who you ask, kind of struggling. Um, it's not being shut down, and honestly, Microsoft is really good about continuing its support for those games. Um, I personally want to see Halo on PlayStation. I personally want to see Helldivers 2 on Xbox. I want to see Forza on PlayStation. I want to see Last of Us on Xbox. I want to see Ghost of Tsushima on Xbox. I want to see Gears of War on PlayStation because the more players, the better. I, you know, Given the conversation surrounding the gaming industry over the past year, I think back to Phil Spencer's interview back in January, where they were kind of um, talking about these rumors again, where they did that. The rumors got so bad that they had to do a podcast. And Phil Spencer was talking about how um, they are currently looking at how they can grow in this industry. And if you're not growing, you are stagnant. You are declining if you are stagnant. So, how do you constantly maintain growth? And they do not want to sit there and gouge out their current economy or their current gamers that they have on the Xbox platform. They want to branch out and find new gamers. And in my opinion, as a armchair expert, when I sit here and I look at Microsoft's actions over the past year, I see them raising Game Pass prices instead of doing the $0 or $1 for your first month or whatever. To me, that says, hey, we're no longer interested in trying to grow Game Pass Ultimate. We've gotten where we're going to get as far as Game Pass Ultimate gets. Now we're just trying to keep that stable, keep it feasible, and I think that's the sole reason. Again, armchair expert here, don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I think that's the reason PC Game Pass is staying to its $12 cost or $11 or whatever the hell it is. I think it's staying to that cost because they still want it to grow. They're still trying to get members in there. They're still trying to push it. They don't really have the wiggle room to say we're raising PC Game Pass to $15, $16, $17 because they're still trying to get in new people. Game Pass Ultimate, again, I think they're just kind of getting to a point where they're accepting that they got the player base that they have. And don't get me wrong, I think there's still room for growth for sure, but I think that they've kind of got to call it a day, or the way they are looking at it. The way they are looking at it, they are saying we got to call it a day. We're raising it to $20. We're going to put our focus elsewhere and grow our business by bringing games to more places. And that's kind of been very apparent, at least to me. It's been very apparent for a while now that they've been trying to get more games into the hand of more players by any means necessary. And by that, I mean xCloud. I mean bringing your games to streaming services, making sure that xCloud is available on your Samsung Smart TV, making sure that my Xbox Game Pass is available on your fucking Amazon Fire Stick, making sure Game Pass is available to you no matter what device you're using, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, you have access to Microsoft Game Pass. And eventually, we already know that they are trying to, well, I guess I can't say that for 100% sure. Maybe that's more of a rumor. But we already know that they're working on trying to get to a point where your entire Microsoft library, your entire Xbox library is available to you wherever the xCloud is. Now, who knows when we'll see that? Again, we don't want to sit here on the rumor station. But if we ever get to that point, then that defines Xbox. That is the new Xbox. Xbox is no longer Halo. Xbox is Game Pass. The Xbox isn't Gears of War. Xbox is xCloud. That's what I think. That's just my personal opinion. Again, armchair expert. Don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm not an expert in the economy. I'm not an expert in the video games industry, but I've been watching the video games industry and been very passionate about it, watching it very closely for a really long time. And as somebody who said back in 2013 that, I think that this all digital world is coming for us soon, and that it makes sense what Xbox One is doing, and here we are like a decade later. It's like, oh yeah, they were just ahead of the curve. I fucking said that a decade ago. So it's like things like, I'm not trying to sit here and say I know everything, I know the future or whatever, but I am saying that I've been watching Microsoft for that long, and I know Microsoft well enough to know that they are a brand that always bets on the future, whether it's right or wrong. And I believe they see a future in xCloud, and they believe they see a future in cloud gaming. And I don't see why anybody wouldn't. We're not there yet. I agree with that. I agree that we're not there. I'm not really using cloud gaming at all. I do wireless gameplay on my phone throughout my own house. That's on Wi-Fi. That is not using my cell phone. Anytime I try to use Wi-Fi, I can't play like you can, Fraser, and play on the bus. Anytime I've tried that, the latency is unbearable. Can't touch it. I'm gonna try and shut the fuck up here soon because I know I've been rambling for a while. But it's a big meaty topic to dig into.
Yeah.
And my thing is it's like, again, we don't live in that world where I know. What's his name? Not the Mike something. The other CEO there at Xbox. I know he had said in that same exact podcast interview, he's like, well, we what does Xbox have that other platforms don't have, and that's Game Pass. So I fully believe that it's going to be more and more clear to us a year, 2 years from now that that's just Xbox's entire identity. Maybe they're not going to be a strict publisher because they've already been talking about their next console. So I don't think anybody should sit there and get their panties in a wad over consoles going away yet. I just don't think we're at a place for that yet. And I think clearly Microsoft doesn't think we're at a place for that yet. So we're still getting our consoles. As to if that console is going to be all digital or not, time will tell. But I think if we want to see these games grow, we want to see these games thrive, we want to see Microsoft continue to grow, we want to see Sony grow. I mean, say what you will, whether you're more on the side of Sony, more on the side of Xbox, more on the side of PC, we all care about fucking games. And we want more games. We want the games that we love so much to succeed. Why don't we want them supported? And I'm going to say one more thing, and then I'm going to shut up and toss it to one of you guys. But one of the things that I think about quite often is how gamers can be some of the most toxic people. In comparison, also in comparison with Star Wars fans, how Star Wars fans can be extremely toxic about their fan base. And a lot of it has to do with passion and how passionate you are about your hobby, the thing that you love. This is something you deeply care about. I deeply care about Dragon Age. I deeply care about Halo. I deeply care about Gears of War. These are franchises that I hold near and dear to my heart. I grew up with Halo. And what I care about is sharing that experience with people. It's about getting that experience with my friends, and to sit here and be like, oh, I don't want it coming to PlayStation. Like, listen, I got friends who only have PlayStations. If Halo comes to PlayStation, if Forza comes to PlayStation, I can fucking play with them now. That's great. Why am I sitting here being upset that my friends can now finally play Halo or Forza? And guess what? If Xbox does eventually go away and there's no longer a Xbox console, you're still gonna have Halo. You're still gonna have Forza because it's gonna be everywhere. This games aren't going anywhere. As we just need to make sure that they're successful. I mean, I say games aren't going to go anywhere as if they never get, as if we're not having like the biggest closures in history of video game development. But you know, again, which is why it's so important that we remain supportive of these companies and make sure that they're growing. Do everything and anything by any means necessary, in my opinion. Maybe I'm just saying the same thing over and over again and I'm not aware of it. But what I'm trying to get to is the fact that I think people get really vile towards each other over the fact that it's like, I really liked this game and you didn't. The fact that you didn't like this game means that the game is one less supporter. Look at what's that big streamer's name? Kai Kennett.
Oh yeah,
You know who I'm talking.
yeah.
So
I think that's his name.
Yeah, I think it's Kai Kennett. Everybody was looking at him as like, oh, him streaming Bloodborne is going to bring Bloodborne remaster to light. The fact that we all want it, like everybody was so hyped because hey, he plays it, he likes it, developers see it, they realize there's a need for it, and that there's a whole fan base out here who has been clamoring for it for years now. He's Jesus. He's a Bloodborne Jesus come to save us. And he ended up not liking it, and then everybody was so angry at him, or because he just mainlined the story and everybody was super angry. Now granted, I'm speaking out of my ass, I didn't follow this situation super closely, so if I am wrong, please feel free to correct me in the comments below, because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Thanks for coming to listen to me ramble. But and when I was watching that, that's what made me think of this, right? I'm just like, why is everybody getting so mad at him over this? And it's like, well, these are people who... Bloodborne is a game that a lot of people describe as their favorite game of all time. You talk to any Soulsborne person who's played every Souls game, they'll say Elden Ring or Bloodborne. Most of them will say that. Maybe I just pissed off all the Dark Souls 3 lovers. But, you know... and I think that's just it, is we want to see the things we love thrive. We want to see a Bloodborne remaster. We want to see the next Bloodborne 2 come out. And when we see people hate on it, then it's like, oh, well, then we're not going to get it back. Russell really loved Days Gone. I like Days Gone. I would love to see a Days Gone 2, but general consensus was that the game sucked. And guess what? We're not getting Days Gone 2. And that sucks. And it makes me upset. And when I see people say stuff about the game that I harshly disagree with, it does upset me. I'm just like, oh shit, I want to say something. Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean the game isn't fun? What do you mean the gameplay sucked? I completely disagree with that. The gameplay was great. It was phenomenal. Why are you trashing on this game that deserved to have a sequel, and in my opinion deserved to have a sequel, you know? And then that's where all the vileness comes from, right? In the gaming community, where we start bickering with each other and yelling at each other and saying fuck you for not agreeing with me on my opinions on this game. It was just kind of like a self-revelation I had recently, where I was just kind of like, you know, looking at the gaming community, and I'm like, oh, yeah, this
Well, I think
gives me better understanding of the people around me. But you guys, I apologize for rambling so much. Hopefully I didn't just beat the same horse to death over and over and over again.
I think that like that negative thing that you're talking about, it's such a small percentage of gamers, right? The people on TikTok or not TikTok, sorry, the people on Twitter that are negative, it's like it's the loudest horse. Like they don't speak for everyone, and yeah, it just is such a it's so weird. It's always like the same people that you hear over and over again. Like, I don't like this. I don't like that. This is that. This is that. But I want to hear Russell's take on it because he's not a console guy. He's a PC guy.
So before I get into that, oh, maybe we should save this to the end. I know. Well, no, I know we don't talk about rumors and speculation, but Nathan was bringing up Xbox and said, "Oh, Xbox has confirmed that we're getting a new console." They actually haven't. Um, if you pay attention, I know we don't cover rumors, but there's been rumors about handheld and what this new device is going to be. They don't keep using the word console. They keep using the word hardware. If you
Okay.
pay
Because I was gonna
really
say, well, what
close,
did Sarah Bond say? Because Sarah Bond was talking about the most
if
powerful.
yeah, she's not. They don't. It's Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond are not using the word console. They keep saying hardware, which I
Ah,
find really interesting.
then they must be
Right.
testing
Yep.
around with stuff.
If you look at the history specifically of Phil Spencer, sometimes you need to pay attention to not what he's saying, but what he's not saying. He's not saying console. He's saying hardware. Um, so just something I've noticed. But anyway, as far as exclusives go, like I understand why people are so hardcore about exclusives. Exclusives are kind of the lifeblood of a console in a lot of ways. Nintendo would not be where they're at right now without that little fucking plumber and that little elf and so on and so forth. Um,
Who?
as far
Just kidding.
yeah, as far as PlayStation goes, they've had different exclusives throughout the years. What you get with the PS4 and the PS5 is certainly not what you got with the PS1 and the PS2. Um, I mean, what they're just very different as far as the exclusives go. Xbox has always had Halo. Gears has kind of always been there. Fable obviously dropped off and is coming back. So, I mean, I don't know if it pains me to say this. Like, I don't really care too much about exclusives, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I mean, as a PC player, I pretty much get everything at some point anyway, except for Nintendo stuff. And, I mean, if you so choose, there are
You can
ways to
get
get
that.
those too. Is all I'm going to say there.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. I always got to say something that Nintendo's going to be knocking on my door at some point. Every single podcast. It's my gimmick now.
Nintendo hit
But
squad are on their way.
yeah, I would love for everything to come everywhere. I don't know how real. I
Giggity.
mean, let's be perfectly honest. PlayStation doesn't have a reason really to port their stuff to Xbox. They don't. If we're being perfectly honest. I mean, how if they ported God of War to the series consoles, how much would that really make a difference? And then in a way, that's less of a reason for people for Xbox to come over to PlayStation. Although I think there's a lot more middle ground than people give credit for. As far as like people that own both, I think that's more common than most people would lead on or lead to believe. I mean, especially if you're on Twitter. But yeah, I would love for games like all of them to be everywhere. And obviously, Xbox is basically there, and PlayStation in a way too with their PC ports. I don't think it's arguable that live service and like multiplayer focused games, those literally should be everywhere. Um, I don't know anyone, particularly with live service, like I don't know why you wouldn't uh, want your game to be everywhere, if at all possible. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Especially if it's free, right? If it's a
yeah,
free
The hardware things are different now. The PS5 and the Xbox Series hardware is a lot more similar than people. I mean, we're arguing about like RAM and VRAM, and that wasn't consoles used to be so different, and I think a little bit harder to develop for. And the series consoles are definitely arguably a little bit harder to develop for now, mostly because of the memory uh differences between the two series consoles, or at least that's what we're reading developers are saying. um don't stab the messenger, but it has been said more than once that the Series S is kind of a problem. um but the architecture is more similar than people I think give it credit for these days. We're not back in the day, so when it comes to live service and multiplayer, there's no reason that they shouldn't be together, or together, excuse me. The live service shouldn't basically be everywhere. Now I'm rambling and kind of lost my train of thought a little bit. So
No,
Well,
Frazier, feel free to take over
I
after.
yeah,
well, can I
I
actually chime back in real quick? Because I want to touch on something Russell said. The live serve, like as far as the online games, it's like why not? Like let's talk about Halo for a second. Why not just the multiplayer? Keep the single player exclusive to Xbox. I mean, what's the harm in that? Now you're getting the multiplayer support from PlayStation players. You're getting the microtransaction from PlayStation players. It's a free to play. Why not? Why not have Gears of War multiplayer? I assume as much that the next Gears of War is probably going to have a multiplayer mode that's free. Like Halo, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe they try to take that same model. But why wouldn't you try to make sure that that's available everywhere? Because you need players. It's so important to have players. Take the campaign, make that exclusive. Who gives a shit? Because guess what? PlayStation players, they haven't been playing the Halo campaigns. They don't care about the Halo campaigns. And not even everybody who plays Halo cares a whole bunch about the campaigns. Because you're definitely going to talk to some Halo fans that are like, oh, yeah, I'm only here for the multiplayer. Just like Call of Duty. But the
I like the
PlayStation.
campaigns.
Yeah, I know, me too. But uh, to the thing that I really wanted to touch on that you said was the PlayStation thing. PlayStation doesn't have a reason to bring God of War to or Spider-Man 2 or Ghost of Tsushima. They don't have a reason to bring it to Xbox. I don't foresee them bringing it. I want them to, but I don't foresee them bringing it because of what you said. Like it is bringing people to PlayStation. Their model of bringing it to PC a year after its release has been great for them because people like you, Russell, who have a PC, you don't care. You'll get to play it eventually. It's all good. Like you're not stressed to play it day one. But if you are, go buy a PlayStation. That is a reason to buy a PlayStation. That's their gimmick. That is their Game Pass. It is their Wolverine. We're all excited for Wolverine. You're going to be the one person, you're going to have one place to play that on day one. So go out, buy your PlayStation. There's a reason for somebody to have a PC. There's a reason for somebody to have a PlayStation. Do you care that much about Game Pass to have an Xbox is the question. But yeah, I agree with you. I would love to see Helldivers 2 come to Xbox. I see that there's a need for it, a reason for it. What are you doing with Concord? Like I'm not even going to get into that discussion, but it's like that would be really useful for games like Concord to be on Xbox. And why aren't we making these multi-platforms? They've already said that next Bungie game Marathon that's coming to Xbox. Maybe they've changed their mind, but I mean, these multiplayer games need players. I'm not going to keep repeating myself, but yeah, I agree with you. Why would they bring? They have zero reason to bring God of War to Xbox.
Yeah, I don't foresee PlayStation exclusives going to Xbox. Which is also, I know, caused a lot of Xbox gamers to then question, well, why the hell do I have an Xbox when I can just go to PlayStation and I'll eventually get the Xbox games? Um, I don't think that I think that a lot of Xbox exclusives, at least for a while, won't be going day and date to PlayStation. I kind of raised an eyebrow at that Blade game when it was announced, and it didn't say that it was It didn't say at all, I don't think, what platforms it was coming to, which I thought was really, really odd. Again, I want to say with Xbox, you need to pay attention to what they're not saying, rather than
I
what's up.
Can I ask you a question? So
What?
what do you think the answer is to, well, why have an Xbox? Because as somebody who chose
Well,
PC, what do you think it
as
is?
you brought up, I guess it would just be Game Pass, and Game Pass Ultimate. I mean, yeah, there's a version for PC, but there's still stuff with the Xbox version. Like when you have Game Pass Ultimate, you get. I haven't fired up my Xbox in months, but if you have Game Pass Ultimate, they give you freebies. I remember getting a free subscription, a 3-month subscription to Paramount Plus, I
Yeah,
think, through
yeah.
them. They give you not DLC, but like some of the cosmetics and stuff you can buy in like Fallout or something, Fallout 76. They'll give you some of that crap, or for other games. I got a bunch of cosmetics. I think for oh god, the game that's kind of like soccer but with Rocket League. I got a bunch of free crap for that I've never used, and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, there are reasons to still buy an Xbox. I just think that by Xbox, letting PlayStation have some of their exclusives. I say some for now. We'll see what happens. Um, it's definitely diminished the Xbox. So exclusives are definitely important, but the world's changing.
It's a good segue into tossing it over to Fraser. I would add on to reasons to buy an Xbox is the user interface. Whenever I show my PC friends or PlayStation friends quick resume, they're just mind blown. They want an Xbox just for quick resume. Us Xbox players take that for granted, just like
Mm.
how awesome it is and how useful it is. I can't tell you how many times I bring my Xbox all over the house. You unplug that Xbox and it picks up right where you left off. How crazy is that? Things like that. And again, one of these days the answer is going to be XCloud. One of these days it's going to be the fact that your game, when you buy a game, it doesn't just exist in one strict place. It exists everywhere. Um, but what do you think, Fraser? I want to hear your take on all this.
Well, I I agree with a lot of what you were saying, Nathan. But then the reason that I have an Xbox is because all my friends have Xboxes, and that's been that's been the only reason. So like I had the 360. All the people that I met online through those gaming experiences bought the next Xbox, and we all carried on. I've only recently just got a PC, so this whole PC thing is new to me. Um, but I think that um, having exclusives, it brings it brings competition, right? And with competition comes creativity, and if each console is kind of pushing each other to make a better console, to make a better console. There were things that PlayStation was doing that Xbox didn't used to do. There were things that Xbox had that PlayStation never had, like being able to put music onto your hard drive of your Xbox and play music while you're playing games. Like that was fucking cool. I mean, we can't do that anymore.
Revolutionary.
But yeah, but then you look at a brand like Nintendo, and sure, they're making technological advancements, but it's such a slow pace. They're kind of they've got no competition in that handheld, like real competition in that handheld space. They're kind of trucking along. Their online stuff is rubbish. Their Yeah, right. I don't like their it's almost non-existent in a world of 2024 to have a console not have like a good online presence is so weird. It never goes on sale. Everything's always super expensive. I've got the monopoly on that, and they just do what they want, and we deal with it. Like I think with the exclusives, Russell's right. all multiplayer games should be multi-platform. They should be on everything. Everyone should be able to play it. I don't know why you would be a developer and not want to make money. Like, it's just that's just how it is, right? You make a game. Sure, you make a game because you want to, but then you want to make that next game. And in order to make that next game, this first game has to be successful. And the more people that get to play it, the better. Like, sure, there's millions of people that own a PlayStation. There's I don't know the numbers, but there's certain gamers that don't care about that. There's people that only play FIFA. There's people that only play Call of Duty. Like these kind of people, like sure they own a PlayStation, but they don't their numbers almost don't count for for that. So yeah, so like I guess what I'm trying to say is like exclusives have a place, but I don't think they need to be so like set in stone. Like, Sea of Thieves going to PlayStation. How long Sea of Thieves been out? Fucking years. Absolutely
Yeah.
years. And now people with the PlayStation are gonna get a chance to play it. And now if they make a Sea of Thieves 2, is that gonna make you buy an Xbox? Probably not. But if it comes to PlayStation, you're gonna buy it. Xbox is gonna make money. It's just a big money thing. Like that's it
It's a
at the end of
good
the day.
answer to. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. It's a good answer to Phil's question of how do you m- maintain growth instead of staying stagnant.
Get it in people's hands.
Hmm.
Get people playing it.
Hmm.
That's it. Like, sure, the only time that I've ever wished I had a PlayStation was Helldivers. But now I own a PC, I can play it, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I bought a PlayStation 4 a couple of years ago, and I've been playing through all the old PlayStation exclusives. It's never been enough to be like, damn, I need to buy a PlayStation
Yeah.
because I'm going to buy a PlayStation and I've got no friends on it. All my friends are going to be on Xbox. So, like, this happened at work actually. All my gaming friends play on Xbox, right? It's just how it is. We've all had them. We've grown up together. We've all bought them. I've got a mate at work who games, and he only has a PlayStation, so we can't play together, and it just seems silly. And in 2024, that I can't play a game with my friend because we own a different plastic box just
It's
seems
crazy.
silly. But then on the opposite side of that, if Xbox or PlayStation was to disappear, are we going to get such great leaps in technological advancement? Or are they just kind of going to stagnate and just be like, we're happy with this?
Competition's a good point.
I don't
Hmm.
for someone that's been around as long as we have, a stagnant PlayStation is not. I mean, have
But they've
people
all,
forgotten about have people forgotten about the first 2/3 of the PlayStation 3 generation?
No,
Um,
yeah.
and 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 to a lesser degree, one of the reasons I'm so spicy about my attitude towards PlayStation sometimes, uh, along with their fans, has to do with the PlayStation Vita. And how
I
big of a
forgot
fan
that
of
was a
that I
thing.
was.
Oh, the Vita was
I
amazing.
loved the Vita, but
Let's
Yeah.
but
go.
uh, but evidently Sony didn't love the people that bought it. Anyway, that was kind of irrelevant. I am interested to see though if Xbox goes away console wise. I'm interested to see how all these people on Twitter are going to react. Because a lot of content creators are going to lose content, I think.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it'll be a terrible thing if they take either one of them away.
Hmm.
Because like there's people that don't have thousands of dollars to spend on a computer. There's
Exactly.
people that just like to sit on their couch and just play whatever they play. And if you take one of those things away, from people, I think it's going to be detrimental to everything.
Yep. And especially let's talk about the fact that let's look back at the Xbox One. If they
Mm,
get the timing wrong, again, detrimental. How detrimental would it
yep.
be if they got the timing wrong again and tried to be like, oh, we're not going to do a console. We're going to do only cloud. Then people are like, okay, so my whole library is here on this cloud that I can't get to fucking work. I just spent $70, and who knows, at that point maybe it's $80. I just spent $80 on this brand new game, and now I can't even access it because of my AT&T connection. My Verizon
Mm,
connection isn't that great. I can't afford
yep.
AT&T. I'm using Mint Mobile and it's not as good or something. I don't know. I don't know enough about cell phone companies. But like
Yeah.
I agree. It's shady. I don't think people should get overly concerned about consoles going anywhere. I think it's going to be a long
No.
time before that happens. Um, I just think that Microsoft needs to be very careful that they don't have an Xbox One Part 2 when it comes to
Yeah.
trying to get ahead of the curve way too early, way too fast. I hope, I think that a handheld is the correct next step. Like, let's not go too far into the future. Like, give us an actual hardware that we can take anywhere and everywhere. Something that will adopt the X Cloud naturally. Um, I feel like that's the next step going into having cloud gaming. But I agree with you, Fraser. This competition's good. You want
Yeah.
Spider-Man to push Microsoft to have their own Avowed. You want
Yep.
them to have a Last of Us so that it pushes Microsoft to want to have a Gears of War. I don't know. I'm just fucking talking out of my
Yeah.
ass.
No.
It's not like those things are
Absolutely.
comparable, but
Yeah.
yeah, competition 100%.
But then, and then we talk about hardware, and if a console is doing something that the other console is not doing, say the Kinect, for instance,
Yeah.
how Xbox was like, we're gonna see what the Kinect's all about. They dove into that. They started to introduce and do you know what? PlayStation had nothing like that.
Nope.
That
Well, oh no,
that's
they had the
what is
move. They
gonna
had the
make
move.
people. Yeah, but it was no way near.
I mean, it was shit.
They they didn't put in the they didn't put in the research and the time to make it anything really, did they?
No, PlayStation dedicating themselves to a venture. Vita, PSVR 2.
Yeah. Like, and so that is what is gonna make people buy a console. I don't think a specific game coming out. Sure, I love Spider-Man. I think it's great. I don't own a PlayStation, so I can't play it.
Mhm.
Kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks big time. But then, say with the Connect, for instance, they release some sort of Connect game, some sort of something, and PlayStation doesn't have that technology, or like the VR thing, like PlayStation VR. Xbox doesn't have that. So if I want to get into the VR kind of thing, that's where I need to go. And sure, like those sort of games coming out are going to make people be like, oh shit, like maybe PlayStation is the way to go. But mid console or mid generation, sorry, a release of a game on a console is not going to make me change mid gen.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Um, I don't blame you. How do you feel about PlayStation Plus Extra versus, or have you really ever looked at the catalog?
No, because I don't have a PlayStation, so I've never looked at it. But what? Tell me about it. What's the?
So PlayStation has three tiers, right? You've got
Yep.
PlayStation Plus Essentials, which is what we've always had, where you get 3 free games, some other
Yep.
extra perks or whatever, and it also pays for your online capabilities, um, cloud store game service,
Yeah.
saved game data storage, which honestly is my personal biggest gripe against
That's
PlayStation.
bullshit.
It is bullshit.
Russell's got something to
It,
say about
oh
that.
my gosh,
No,
yeah.
I just wanted to say that's
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yep,
Playing for
Yeah.
cloud saves is fucking bullshit.
it really is, because let me tell you, I have legitimately I have had my own game saved locked behind a paywall. And when that happens, it's
Oh.
like, oh yeah, fuck this. Like, that is my biggest number one gripe with PlayStation is the cloud, because I'm not paying for it. I've been trying to cut out like different expenses, trying to see where I can make cut corners, where I can and can't. I'm realizing that I can't cut that corner with PlayStation because of things like that. Because I'm just like, well, fuck, like, I deleted this game, now I gotta re-download it, and I don't have the save data. Also, all these essential games that I've been getting for free over the years, can't even access them. So I have this huge library that I can't access. And that includes some of my regular games that I go to sit down and play with Megan, and I can't. So, anyways, Extra is kind of their answer to Game Pass. It's good. It's good. They just added The Witcher 3. They have most PlayStation exclusives. Most. They've been doing a little better with day ones. We're getting I say we as if I'm subscribed. I want to, because Harry Potter Quidditch is coming to it for free at the beginning of next month.
Cool.
That's a day one game.
Yep.
Then there was the cat game. What was that?
Gora, something Gora?
Stray.
Oh, yeah.
Stray came out day one free. There's Meet Your Maker came out day one free. I know there's other ones that I'm forgetting off the top of my head. So they do get day one games. Not a whole bunch of them, nor are they big AAAs like, Gears of War, Forza, or Black Ops or anything. But when you're talking about having a PlayStation, it's your only console, and doing the exact same thing you do with your Xbox, paying an extra $5 or whatever it is to get those extra games, it's 100% worth getting. I only know one person who didn't go the extra mile for no pun intended, the extra mile to get extra, just because he already has his entire library. He's big into gaming. He buys these games as they come out. So then by the time extra came around, he's like, I already own all of it. So I don't blame him. I mean, I would probably do the same thing. Premium is pretty cool if you are into retro games.
New, right?
No. Premium for PlayStation actually means older games. They've got backwards compatibility games from like PS3, PS2, PS1. They're still porting over games and stuff. One of the things that I've noticed is a lot of the games that they bring to Plus and Extra and Premium is games that were already on their old PlayStation streaming service. I can't remember what that was called, but they used to have one that was like a cloud service you paid $20 for. But it's like they just kind of like been slowly bringing back their old catalog, and then being like, hey, look at these new games. It's like, bitch, I've been playing this for a while. But they just brought Metal Gear. I mean, maybe I'm wrong because time is a flat circle, but it's like they just brought Metal Gear Solid back not too long ago, and they had that originally in their old service, and it took them a good while to bring it back. So it was like it went away there for a while, and when they started a new service. Were you going to say Russell?
Oh, no, I'm looking at the tiers right now. I'm on the PlayStation website looking at it. You said premium, and I was pointing to myself about the classic games.
Oh, okay.
Mostly.
Okay.
I have something to say about this essential tier, but that can wait a few minutes.
I know you go ahead. I'm all done.
this entire essential tier is fucking bullshit. You get monthly games, whatever that is. I'm sure it's probably what the equivalent to like us getting those Xbox 360 games and
Right.
stuff with gold. You get online multiplayer, which as a PC player is bullshit. You have to pay for that. You get exclusive discounts, so they're locking some sales behind a paywall. You get cloud storage. You get share play, which I kind of know what that is, and you get quote unquote exclusive content. I have no idea what that means. Um, so basically, with this tier, if online multiplayer was gone, no one would pay for this. Like no one would.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think.
So I mean, I want to point out that Xbox also does like the whole entire exclusive deals. They got their like core membership deals, and then they have their Game Pass specific deals. So they both do the same thing.
Yeah,
And
which is
then
also bullshit.
oh, right. I agree. I definitely agree with that. But one of the things, the exclusive perks, that is packs like Fortnite skins, Call of Duty skins. That is one thing PlayStation definitely does better than Xbox. Is they put out some pretty cool perks. Fraser Warframe shit. They give out some pretty cool
Yeah.
Warframe shit every month. It every time I look at the essential plus perks or whatever, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna download this free to play game on all three of my consoles so I can make sure to get all of these goodies everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what were you gonna say, Fraser?
I was gonna say that. So that's one thing that Xbox had right from the start was that backwards compatible.
Hmm.
So like, you know, I know they're adding to it as they go, but like the fact that I used to have to own a PlayStation 3 to play PlayStation 3 games, PlayStation 2 to play PlayStation 2 games, like if I have a PlayStation 5, why the fuck can't I play these games on it?
Right.
The
Sure, granted, you can't do that on Xbox. You can't play all of them. There's heaps of them that you can't play, but there's a significantly more that you can,
Right.
and they're cheap as cheap. Like you go on the storefront and you can pick up 360 games for like $4 and $5.
Yep.
Like it's great.
Um, do you guys have any closing thoughts on the exclusivity deal? Are you guys hoping to see an end to exclusivity, or are you guys hoping to kind of just see things continue to go the way they're going?
I want to see an end to it. I'm like I think it's dumb. I think like we live in like like causing so much divide over it. We live in a digital age and we're so far removed from everything.
Yeah.
Like just like we like I said we live in this digital age, but like I feel like I'm less connected to things now than I've ever been. And to to bring back some of that connection, to bring the gaming community together so we can all play games together, I think is a credible step in the right direction.
It's beautifully said. I agree 100% because I mean I talking about like politics and stuff. That's one thing where I find myself in disagreements too. I know there's a lot of people out there who would sit there and be like, "Well, politics is in everything, and you can't escape politics, and you need to talk about it. You need to own up to it, and you need to be speaking your truth and sharing what you believe politically." And I don't want to talk about that. You know, I am sure that the more you hear me talk, you're going to hear bits and pieces of how I feel about certain subjects, and then maybe you can piece together for yourself how I feel and what I might lean towards politically speaking. But I don't want to talk about that here because not because I'm not passionate about my political beliefs, not because I don't care, but because there is so much fucking divide in life. Like not even just
Yeah.
gaming in general, but just like in life there is so much fucking division, and I'm a gamer because it brings people together. I am a gamer because I love that sense of community. He leaves.
Russell's had enough.
It brings us together, and Russell just fucking runs away.
Fuck you, fuck your community.
But that's something I love about Gamer Social Club is that it does bring a lot of people, a diverse group of people together, and we get to talk about video games and just keep it at that. And it's like whenever somebody goes off the rails and starts getting into drama, it's like we all just kind of like bow out, let them have it, and then we move on. But that's and one of the stories that I have to share is like when I was growing up, I had a bully in my life, like most of us do, right? And I played video games with him at one point, and it wasn't even directly with him. It was that I was sitting down with somebody else playing video games, and then he came over and he played along with us because he was more friends with my friend. And we played Halo together, and you know what? The bullying ended up stopping after a while because we bonded over our love for Halo.
Yep.
And that's another reason why Halo is such a big deal for me, because it also like helped me through bullying, through my life. So I look at situations like that and what they mean to me and what gaming has done for me personally, and that is one of them. It's like helped me get through bullying. It's also been a big connection point when I meet somebody and I'm like, I bond with people over video games. Like Fraser, we've only known each other through video games. We wouldn't be here without video games having this relationship that we have, and me and you have synced really well in the short time that we've known each other. And it's like that's because of video games. And we didn't fucking meet on a political forum. You're in Australia. Why would you give a shit about my politics? Why would I give a shit about your politics? Like, we wouldn't have met over that and grow like. And no. What good does it do? I'm sorry. Now I am going to get into politics, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stop myself right there. But yeah. Russell, how do you feel? How you feeling?
About what? I have a pee, so I don't know what's been going on for the last 2-3 minutes.
I don't know.
I think this is probably the perfect place to name drop the social club, right? Like, if you are sick and tired of all the bullshit, like, we accept you.
Yes.
Like, there's none of that in the social club. Like, it's literally about video games and how much we enjoy them.
Yep.
There is so many different people talking about so many different things. I've met some fucking great people through the social club, including both of you.
Yep.
And I'm being introduced to things that I didn't even think about or really care about. And now I do. So if that is something that you are interested in, like, there's a link in the description below. Yeah. Like, we just choose a game each month, and the only rule is that it has to be available everywhere. And that's it. And so, like, this month we're playing Mad Max, and people are really enjoying it. Who knows what we're going to play next month? It could be something fucking completely different.
And then, in our general discussion, like, you talk about, your job and stuff and share pictures from your job. It's like we're creating our own little social platform in the Discord chat.
That's right. So yeah, if you're sick of all the bullshit, come and hang out with us because we're pretty cool.
Yep. That's exactly right. And I mean, to even add into that, what we've been talking about this past hour is, the rumor stuff. That's kind of Dano's big thing, the guy who started this. If you're a first time listener, that's kind of Dano's whole thing, is not wanting to get into rumors, because the rumors just create division. They create arguments that end up are stupid to begin with, because they never came to fruition. We get really freaked. Look at that podcast that I was talking about earlier, that Phil Spencer, all the 3 big CEOs or whatever of Xbox, had to come out and basically squander all the rumors because they got so out of hand. And, you know, there's no need for it. Again, it's just
No.
another thing that causes division. And if you are against division, just want to be there for the social part of things, social gamers
Yeah.
club, right? But you know,
Yeah.
eh,
Right.
I love this place. It means a lot to me, and I am,
Yeah.
and
Same.
that's kind of the big reason that I hopped on board with the Gamer Social Club was when Dano was sharing his uh, call out for people who wanted to work on the website. My thing had always been whenever I start my own streaming thing, if I start a podcast or whatever, that was the top of my priority list was I wanted to be a place for anybody and everybody to come together and
Yeah.
just talk video games. Enough of the bullshit.
Yeah.
Put all the bullshit to the side. We're just here to talk about video games.
Mm.
And like if you're gonna come here to hate on each other, hate over each other, the games that people are playing over, get out of here. Like if you're gonna come
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
comment section and be like, and be assholes about what games we're playing, or be assholes about, I can't believe you guys have these trash opinions on this game or whatever. It's like, okay, like I
I don't,
mean,
I don't have time for that.
we're not gonna kick you out. You're more than welcome to stay, but we're not gonna interact with that kind of behavior. At least I'm not. uh,
Cool.
but
Well, I guess the last thing that I was wanting to do was talk about like just some upcoming games for the week
yeah, let's wrap.
and
Yeah,
just
let's finish
see
up with that. Yep.
if there's anything that's interesting for you guys. So we for me it's Saturday morning. It's the 17th.
Okay.
Um so I guess like what I was thinking is we'll just go from today until Friday.
Okay.
And I haven't got a lot this week. These are like the bigger ones. And we'll just see if anyone's interested. So the big one I guess is Black Myth comes out in a couple of days.
Uh,
Wukong.
are any of you gonna be playing that?
It looks gorgeous. It looks fucking gorgeous.
Okay. Yeah, it looks
It,
great.
Yeah. I might pick it up on the PC. Definitely not day one for me. I've got so much else going on.
I'm the
Russell?
same way. But Russell,
that's another one I'll keep my eye on, and maybe a sale. I've tracked the reviews a little bit today. So like I'm aware that there seems to be some performance issues. Also, this doesn't mean anything necessarily, but the lack of PlayStation 5 codes going out for reviews. I'm glad I'm not playing it on PS5. That could all just be bullshit. You never know. It is a lot easier to generate a Steam code than it is a PlayStation code. That's for sure.
Mm.
So there's that. But maybe performance issues when they get patched out a month or two or whatever, and maybe like a $10-15 off sale or something. Unless it like ends up looking that fucking badass and I end up picking it up. But I'm interested, but definitely not a day one buy.
okay. Yeah, I believe we talked about this last week. I initially had gone into our reviews and said I was going to review it, and then I was like, you know what? There's just no way. And even after kind of planning out what I'm going to be playing this year, something that I've been thinking about since last week is the fact that, oh my gosh, we've got the casting of Frank Stone 3 days before Astrobot, and then Astrobot comes out, and then 2 days after that, or 3 days after that, is Space Marine. And it's like I've already taken Star Wars Outlaws out of the equation personally for me. Like that's going to be one game I wait on. So I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to get it all done because I'm reviewing 2 out of 3 of those games that I just listed.
Yeah, crazy. All right, well then the next one's Dustborn. That also comes out on the 20th. The art style for this looks very interesting, and I believe that it's got. This was we saw this at the Summer Games Fest. I'm pretty sure it's got a fucking cool like 80s soundtrack to it.
Okay.
Um, I think I'll be taking a look at this one for sure. I don't think it's going to be a big underhaul, like an
Hmm.
overhaul. Like I don't think it's going to be a massive game. Which I'm good with at the moment. I can't deal with massive games. I had to put down Metal Gear 5. I've shelved that for the minute. I was just investing so much time into it and getting nowhere.
So you did drop it. Do you think you'll ever
Yep.
go back, or are you gonna just kind of?
I will.
Okay.
No, I will go back.
Okay.
Definitely, because I'm all about my steering wheel at the moment, but I can see that that's gonna be I'm gonna pick that up and put that down. But I want to go back and finish it definitely. But yeah, Russell, any interest in Dustborn?
I was not aware of what the hell this even was until you brought it up. For anyone interested, there is a demo on Steam, so there's that.
Right?
Um, it looks interesting. Definitely not an action adventure type. Well, it says action in the description on Steam, but I don't trust Steam's description of shit.
Yeah.
If you pick the wrong thing to search for, it doesn't take very long to like start getting into the Steam porn games, and then you're like, how the hell did I even end up here? So Steam's organization and the way they classify shit does not make any sense at all. Oh, I get okay. I'm looking at the trailer. There is a little bit of action, more than I thought there would have been.
Yeah.
There's definitely
Use the power of
yeah, this is definitely an indie game though. The animation and stuff reminded me of Hi-Fi Rush a lot. Like not it,
yeah.
I don't expect it to be a kick your opponent's ass to the beat type thing, but this does look interesting. It doesn't say how much it's gonna be. I'll add this to my wish list though. I'll keep my eye on it. Maybe download the demo tonight and see what's what.
Yeah, use the power of words to shape relationships with your crew, get out of trouble, and reach your final destination. So I think from the looks of it, you're like a band and you're road tripping across America, and things happen. Why not?
Why not?
Why not? Guild Wars is getting some DLC. Are either of you into Guild Wars?
Eh,
Never
Nah,
played
I
it.
got nothing to say
no,
about that really.
no. I've got a couple of friends who will be playing that, but that's
Okay.
not my jam.
Okay.
Um, so I'm gonna butcher the name. Enortia in in Enortra. Enotria. The last song. Is that anything that comes out on the 21st? Nope.
Nope.
I'm trying to figure out what the hell this is.
I
Oh,
believe it's that puppet. It's that puppet Dark Souls thing. The last song is a Souls-like set in a beautiful sunlit world inspired by Italian folklore.
Define
Steam
souls
has
like.
got this. Steam has got this. Steam has got this dropping on September 18th.
Interesting. It must have had a yeah September
What are
19th.
you? Yeah. What are you looking at as far as? I don't know where you're looking at the stuff coming out or what you're on
Yeah,
right now.
it must be out of date. This must have had a change.
Yeah, I've got this. This is pushed back till the 18th of next month.
Oh well, it does look interesting though. I will be the Souls peeps out there.
The category of Souls like is almost like making me want
So
to vomit now.
oversaturated.
Yeah, it's
So I think for me the world is what interests me. Based on
it
Italian
does look
folklore.
interesting, but
I don't know anything about Italian folklore, so might
neither
be
do I.
might be interesting to get some bit of a history lesson. Why can't I close that? And then the last of it is Concord.
Oh
Nathan, you'll
yeah,
be on that.
yeah, I'm gonna be busy with that.
I
Well,
think that comes out on Thursday. Is that right? Wednesday or Thursday?
You would think I would know.
Sure.
But
Yep.
yeah. So let's just go with Thursday for sure. I'm
Okay.
sure I will
Cool.
be doing some covering of that. I'm sure I'll post some gameplay, maybe even go live. I don't know.
So again, that leads back to what we were talking about. Like you're playing it, you're excited about it. I don't have a PlayStation, so I can't play it.
Yeah. You can play it on PC. I'm gonna be playing on PC actually. I'm
Oh
actually not
yeah,
even
no,
gonna be
I,
playing
I
on
always forget.
that.
I always
Right?
forget about PC.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
I'm sitting in front of a monster rig that I've got,
Yep.
and I'm like, I can't play that. No way, can't play that.
I
Definitely
I
not.
I saw your I was stalking your Steam profile and I was like, oh yeah, you've only played like 6, 7 games and they're mostly like
Yeah.
Warhammer games.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. I've played sweet FA, mate.
Yep.
Sweet FA.
Um.
I do you know. Weirdly enough, I always forget that like I can even do play games on my fucking computer.
Right.
Like
Right.
I don't even know why
Hmm.
I don't. I'm like a game's coming out. I'm like, oh, it's on Xbox. I can't play it. But I mean, it's fucking stupid. You
Yep.
open up Steam and like the first thing you get is yeah. What is the first thing that I can see on Steam when I open it? Oh, Hellbreach. It's that Vegas thing.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Um.
yeah. Because I searched it.
So, uh, to finish, that was the last of next week's.
Yeah,
Okay.
big ones. There's some fun little ones coming out, but really,
I meant to start off the episode with this, but I think I've already mentioned it. I'm running off of 3 hours of sleep. I told Frazier before we started, I was like, I'm gonna need you to host because like I don't have the mental capacity. Honestly, I have no idea how I did. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much, but like or ramble nonsense anyways. But I meant to mention this at the beginning of it. We have been working on doing the mini-sodes. I know I covered it last week. I covered it again now. I want to start opening our episodes with talking about what we're doing new as far as YouTube and website and all that stuff. So currently, we are starting mini episodes, which is nothing new. It is just these exact episodes segmented. In fact, I just said I saw your confused look on your face. I messaged Frazier the
yeah,
timestamps of how I was going to break up this episode.
yeah. There's
And
just a whole bunch of numbers, and I'm
yeah,
like, what is this?
yeah. I was trying to find my Megan has my phone, so I couldn't take notes on my phone. I had to take them somehow, so I opened up the Xbox app and sent you a message there. But yeah, no. So it's just these conversations segmented. So like the Xbox
Yeah,
conversation
cool.
we just had, like it's going to be segmented out. If you want to share that conversation with your friends, it makes it a little easier. Also, I've been
Yeah,
working on Reels, or YouTube Shorts, anyways. Still gotta set up Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. But for now, we
yeah,
have the YouTube Shorts, so that's a great way for you to also share with your friends as far as like bits and pieces of the podcast and things that we talk about. Like I said last week, I made a reel of the Benjamin Button part. Made a reel of us talking about Borderlands. I made a reel of
yeah,
there was one from a couple weeks ago that didn't get very many views, but it's about Commander Buck talking about something his grandma said. I really liked it. Talking
yeah.
about people are gonna hate and stuff. It was great. It was great. So check out the reels. I've been working real hard on them, and just stay tuned for any cool stuff we're about to do. We got some cool stuff in the works. I got a sick project that I cannot wait to share with everybody.
Yeah.
And then as far as the website goes, I know that what are we working? I know we got some interviews cooking that are in the oven.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we
There's some very cool interviews cooking.
yep. So
I believe Dano's all over that.
yep. Yep.
I actually think, yeah.
And
Are you reviewing anything at the moment?
it's my next one's going to be Concord, and that's
Yeah,
going to be it until the casting of Frank Stone, and then Astrobot, and then I'm basically done until me and you are gonna have to fight over A Quiet Place and figure out.
Yeah.
I will just.
Well, I think we should do
tackle
that
one.
dual stream like we talked about. That'd be fun.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
Mm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I think between all that, it's gonna be tackling like live streams. This is for anybody watching at this point. This is the kind of conversation we have after we hit the stop recording. we start talking about projects and things that we want to start getting into.
That's so funny. We probably should have stopped already then, huh?
Right? Yeah. Right. Yeah. Because then we just start talking about all the things we want to do. And then yeah. Right now, I'm trying to summarize what we want to what is going on. Again, I'm rambling, so I'm going to shut the fuck up. Thank you all so much. If you've listened for the full 2 hours and 31 minutes, we really appreciate you. We love you.
We appreciate
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, right? Yeah, thank you, Steve. You are a dead set legend.
That's right.
Yeah, if you have any more questions, we'll fire it to everyone so we have a bit of a chance to think about it.
Yeah, let's normalize this right in for Fraser's question corner.
Yeah.
I love that.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Send Fraser your messages. We'll do that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what my thing's gonna be. I gotta figure it out. maybe one hot and steamy time. I don't know. I'll take off my shirt.
Like a hot tub live stream.
Oh my gosh! Oh, don't tempt me with a good
Nathan's
time.
hot tub corner. Oh, brilliant. All right, guys. Well, I guess this is it, isn't it? Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you
So
all
long.
so
See
much.
you later.
We love you.
Russell, it was a pleasure, as always.
As always.
Links are in
As
bio
always.
if you want to find us on the socials of the medias. Goodbye.
Peace.